5 fast-growing veggies you can harvest in under 1 month. Easy and beginner-friendly. Hey there, fellow plant lovers. If you've ever dreamed of harvesting your own fresh greens but felt like gardening takes too long, then you're in the right place. Maybe you're someone who loves the idea of growing food at home but worries about patience, or perhaps, like me, you just can't wait to see results. Either way, I've got something exciting for you today. Imagine this. In just a few weeks, sometimes even days, you could be picking fresh, homegrown food straight from your own garden. No waiting months for a harvest. No complicated setups. Just fast-growing, delicious crops that are practically fail-proof. I still remember my first attempt at gardening. I went all in, trying to grow hydroponic cucumbers right from the start. And let's just say, it was a disaster. They tasted awful because I didn't feed them right. But I learned an important lesson. Starting with an easy win makes all the difference. That first successful harvest gives you confidence, motivation, and, most importantly, the belief that you can do this. That's why in today's video, we're talking about 5 of the fastest growing veggies you can harvest in under a month. Whether you have a backyard garden, a balcony, or even just a sunny windowsill, these crops will grow quickly and reward you with fresh, flavorful food in no time. We'll start with the absolute fastest crops, some ready in as little as 10 days, and work our way up to those that take just under a month. And at the end, I'll show you how I use these fresh harvests to create a quick, homegrown salad. So stick around. If you're new here, welcome to Earthly Delights. This channel is all about making gardening fun, easy, and rewarding for everyone, whether you're a complete beginner or a plant parent looking to level up. If that sounds like your kind of thing, make sure to hit subscribe so you never miss a new video. Alright, let's dive in, starting with the fastest crop of them all. 1. The fastest crop. Microgreens, your 10-day gardening win. Now, let's get into the fastest growing crop on our list, microgreens. If you're someone who loves instant results, this is the perfect way to kickstart your gardening journey. In just 8 to 12 days, you can have a tray full of vibrant, nutrient-packed greens ready to harvest. That's less than 2 weeks from seed to plate. So, what exactly are microgreens? Imagine growing your favorite vegetables, like kale, radish, or even sunflowers, but instead of waiting months for them to mature, you harvest them when they're just a few inches tall. These tiny greens are packed with flavor, nutrients, and freshness, making them a perfect addition to salads, sandwiches, or even smoothies. The best part? They don't require a garden. That's right, you can grow them on a windowsill, your kitchen counter, or even a small balcony. If you live in an apartment or have limited outdoor space, microgreens give you the satisfaction of growing your own food with minimal effort and zero waiting. Starting a batch is ridiculously simple. All you need is a shallow tray, some quality seeds, and a bit of soil or a growing mat. You scatter the seeds densely, give them a little water, and let nature do its thing. Within days, you'll see tiny green shoots pushing through, and before you know it, boom! It's harvest time. Now, let's talk about taste. Microgreens are tiny, but they pack a huge punch of flavor. Radish microgreens? Peppery and spicy. Sunflower microgreens? Nutty and crunchy. Pea shoots? Sweet and fresh. Whatever your taste preference, there's a microgreen for you. And here's the magic. Because microgreens grow so quickly, you can keep planting them in cycles, ensuring you always have a fresh supply. Harvest one tray, start another, and repeat. This means fresh, homegrown greens year-round, no matter the season. So, if you're looking for a fast, rewarding way to start gardening, microgreens are the ultimate beginner-friendly crop. They're quick, easy, and foolproof, even if you've never grown a single plant before. Now that we've covered the absolute fastest growing crop, let's move on to something just as easy but with a little extra crunch, pea shoots and sunflower sprouts. Trust me, you won't want to miss this one. 2. Pea shoots and sunflower sprouts, crunchy, flavorful, and ready in 2 weeks. If microgreens were a quick gardening win, then pea shoots and sunflower sprouts are their slightly bigger, crunchier cousins. They're still incredibly fast, ready to harvest in just 10 to 15 days. But they give you a little more bite, literally. Now, I know a lot of you watching are busy. Maybe you're juggling work, family, and a dozen other things. And the idea of waiting months for harvest feels overwhelming. That's why these crops are a game changer. They grow fast, require little space, and deliver big on both taste and nutrition. Pea shoots, for example, are exactly what they sound like, the young, tender greens of a pea plant. They taste just like fresh peas but with a crisp, juicy crunch that makes them perfect for salads, sandwiches, or even a quick snack straight from the tray. And the best part? They practically grow themselves. You just soak the seeds overnight, plant them densely in a shallow tray or pot, and within days, delicate green tendrils start reaching up toward the light. Sunflower sprouts, on the other hand, are my personal favorite. If you love sunflower seeds, you'll love these even more. They have this amazing nutty flavor, almost like a fresher, greener version of the seed itself. But there's a trick to growing them successfully. You need to soak the seeds before planting and keep an eye on moisture levels because, being a bigger seed, they can be prone to mold. But don't worry, with just a little care, you'll have thick, juicy sprouts that add a perfect crunch to any dish. What makes these two crops special is that they don't just grow fast, they grow continuously. You can cut them once, and in many cases, they'll regrow for a second harvest. That means more food, less effort. And if you keep planting in small batches, you'll have a steady supply of fresh greens all month long. So if you're looking for something just as easy as microgreens but with more texture and variety, give pea shoots and sunflower sprouts a try. They're quick, they're foolproof, and they're delicious. But if you're the kind of person who loves a good salad and wants even more leafy goodness, then you'll love what's coming next. Let's talk about baby lettuce and salad greens, the perfect way to have fresh, homegrown greens on your plate every single day. 3. Baby lettuce and salad greens, the easiest way to grow a salad bowl at home. Now that we've covered fast-growing microgreens and crunchy sprouts, let's talk about something that feels like a true garden harvest, baby lettuce and salad greens. If you've ever dreamed of walking outside, snipping off fresh leaves, and tossing them straight into a bowl for lunch, this is the crop for you. Lettuce is one of the easiest things to grow. And the best part? You don't have to wait until it forms a big, full head. Instead, you can harvest baby greens in as little as 20 days. And with the right approach, you can keep picking fresh leaves for weeks. Think about it. Grocery store lettuce goes bad in days. But when you grow your own, you harvest only what you need. And the rest keeps growing. No waste, no wilted greens in the fridge. Just fresh, crisp, homegrown goodness whenever you want it. Growing baby lettuce is also incredibly space efficient. Whether you have a small raised bed, a balcony planter, or even just a few pots on a sunny windowsill, you can make it work. The trick is dense planting. Instead of spacing plants far apart like you would for a full head of lettuce, you scatter the seeds closer together so they grow into a thick, leafy carpet. And let's talk about variety. When you grow your own greens, you're not limited to just romaine or iceberg. You can mix things up with butter lettuce, oak leaf, red leaf, arugula, mustard greens, whatever suits your taste. Want a salad with a peppery kick? Add some mizuna. Prefer something mild and buttery? Go for Bibb lettuce. It's like having a custom salad bar right at home. Another huge advantage? The cut and come again method. Instead of pulling out the whole plant, you snip the outer leaves and let the center keep growing. This way, one planting can keep producing fresh greens for several weeks. It's like a never-ending salad supply. And just like microgreens and sprouts, salad greens are perfect for beginners. They don't require much care, just regular watering, a bit of sunlight, and occasional harvesting to keep them producing. If you've ever hesitated to start gardening, this is your foolproof way to get hooked. So, if you're looking for a steady supply of fresh greens with minimal effort and maximum reward, baby lettuce and salad greens are your best bet. But maybe you're in the mood for something a little different, something with a bit more texture, and maybe even a pop of color. Well, don't go anywhere, because up next, we're diving into a group of crops that most people forget about, but once you try them, you'll wonder why you haven't been growing them all along. Let's talk about root crop greens. 4. Root crop greens, the overlooked superfood growing right under your nose. Now, if you've been sticking with me so far, You're already on your way to having a thriving, fast-growing garden. But here's something most people don't realize: some of the best, most nutritious, and fastest-growing greens aren't just grown for their leaves. They come from root vegetables. Yes, I'm talking about beet greens, radish greens, and turnip greens, an entire category of edible leaves that grow fast and are packed with flavor. Most people toss them out without even realizing that they're completely edible, delicious, and ready to harvest in just a few weeks. Let's start with beet greens. If you love spinach, you're going to love these even more. They have a mild, slightly earthy taste and can be eaten raw in salads or sautéed like spinach with a bit of garlic and olive oil. And here's the cool part: you don't have to wait for the beetroot to fully develop. You can start snipping off the outer leaves in about 15 to 20 days, letting the plant continue to grow while you enjoy fresh, tender greens. Then we have radish greens. Now, radishes are already known as one of the fastest growing root crops. But did you know their leaves are just as good? They have a peppery bite, almost like arugula, and can be used in salads, pesto, or even thrown into a quick stir fry. The best part? Radish greens grow even faster than the radish itself, meaning you can start harvesting in as little as 10 to 15 days. And finally, turnip greens. If you've never tried them before, think of them as a cross between kale and mustard greens, slightly spicy, super tender, and incredibly good for you. Just like beet greens, you can harvest them young and tender or let them mature for a heartier, more robust flavor. The beauty of root crop greens is that they give you options. If you just want the greens, you can grow them densely like baby lettuce and harvest continuously. But if you're patient, you'll also end up with a delicious root vegetable underneath. It's a win-win. So instead of letting those radish, beet, or turnip tops go to waste, try growing them with the intention of harvesting their greens. They grow fast, require minimal space, and add a totally different texture and flavor to your meals. And speaking of variety, we're about to take things up a notch. We've covered quick-growing salad greens, sprouts, and now root greens. But what if you're looking for something a little fancier? Something that feels like an upgrade from the usual leafy greens? Up next, we're diving into upgraded greens: baby kale, bok choy, and mizuna. Some of the most flavorful and visually stunning crops you can grow in under 30 days. 5. Upgraded greens: baby kale, bok choy, and mizuna for a gourmet garden. If you've been following along, you already have a solid lineup of fast-growing greens. But what if you want something a little more elevated, something that not only grows quickly but also adds a gourmet touch to your meals? That's where baby kale, bok choy, and mizuna come in. These aren't just ordinary greens, they're packed with flavor, texture, and color that can take your homegrown dishes to the next level. Let's start with baby kale. Now, if you've ever tried fully grown kale, you know it can be a little tough and fibrous, which is why a lot of people massage it before eating. But baby kale? It's completely different. When harvested young, around 25 to 30 days, the leaves are tender, slightly sweet, and perfect for raw salads. You still get all the nutrients that make kale a superfood, but without the toughness. Plus, it grows like a champ. You can keep harvesting leaves over and over again using the cut and come again method. Next up, bok choy, or more specifically, baby bok choy. This is one of my absolute favorites because it grows so fast, compact, and versatile in the kitchen. Whether you're stir-frying it, adding it to soups, or even eating it raw, baby bok choy has this wonderful mild, crisp texture with just a hint of sweetness. And if you're short on space, no problem. It thrives in small containers, making it perfect for balcony or indoor gardens. And finally, let's talk about mizuna. If you've never grown mizuna before, think of it as the cooler, more exciting cousin of lettuce. It has delicate, feathery leaves with a peppery kick, almost like arugula, but with a smoother, more balanced flavor. You can start harvesting baby mizuna in as little as 20 days. And it keeps producing for weeks. Plus, it's visually stunning, with vibrant green or even purple streaked leaves. It adds a fancy, restaurant-quality touch to any dish. What I love most about these upgraded greens is that they grow just as fast as basic lettuce. but they offer so much more variety. You're not just growing food, you're growing an experience. A plate of homegrown mizuna and baby kale drizzled with a light dressing? That's a dish you'd pay good money for at a farm-to-table restaurant. But you can have it fresh from your own garden, anytime you want. So now that we've covered all these incredible fast-growing crops, it's time to bring it all together. Up next, we're heading to the garden to harvest some of these beauties and turn them into a fresh, homegrown salad. You don't want to miss this. Harvesting your fresh picks, bringing the garden to your table. Now that we've explored some of the fastest growing, most rewarding crops, it's time for my favorite part, harvesting. This is the moment where all that patience, care, and excitement pays off. And let me tell you, there is nothing quite like the feeling of picking fresh greens straight from your garden. Knowing they're full of flavor, nutrients, and most importantly, grown by you. Let's start with the microgreens and sprouts. These are ready in record time. And you can see exactly when they've reached their peak. The leaves are vibrant, tender, and full of life. A quick snip with some kitchen scissors, and you've got yourself a handful of nutrient-packed goodness. The best part? If you stagger your plantings, you can have a constant rotation of fresh greens every single week. Next, let's take a look at our baby lettuce and salad greens. See how these leaves have grown in thick and full. That's what happens when you plant them close together. You get a lush, dense bed of leafy greens just waiting to be picked. And instead of pulling out the whole plant, we're using the cut and come again method, just snipping the outer leaves and leaving the center to keep growing. That means this one planting will continue producing for weeks. Now, let's check on those root crop greens. The beet and radish tops are looking perfect, deep green, full of nutrients, and ready to be picked. And the best part? If you've been keeping an eye on them, some of those radishes might even be big enough to pull up completely. Let's see. Oh yeah, look at that. A perfectly crisp, homegrown radish, ready to slice up and add to our dish. And of course, I can't forget the upgraded greens. These baby kale leaves, perfectly tender. The bok choy, crisp and vibrant. And this mizuna, delicate, feathery, and absolutely bursting with color. Imagine tossing all of these together. You don't just have a salad, you have a garden fresh masterpiece. And now that we've gathered a mix of these delicious greens, it's time to take them inside and turn them into something truly special. Let's get to the kitchen and put this harvest to good use. Wrapping it up, from garden to plate, and what's next? And just like that, we've turned a few handfuls of seeds into a bountiful, homegrown harvest in under a month. Pretty amazing, right? But the real magic isn't just in the growing, it's in what comes next. Now, take a moment and look at what we've created. A mix of crisp baby lettuce, tender kale, spicy mizuna, sweet pea shoots, and even those bold radish greens. This isn't just a salad, it's a celebration of everything that makes home gardening so rewarding. The freshness, the flavors, and most importantly, the satisfaction of knowing exactly where your food comes from. And let's be real, there's something incredibly special about eating something you grew with your own hands. No grocery store trip, no plastic packaging, no wondering how long it's been sitting on a shelf. Just pure, garden fresh goodness that you nurtured from the very start. But here's the best part. This is just the beginning. If you've made it this far, that means you're serious about growing your own food. And trust me, there's so much more you can do. Imagine adding homegrown herbs, edible flowers, even tiny tomatoes to your next harvest. With just a little time and care, you can transform even the smallest space into a thriving, productive garden. So, if you've enjoyed this video and want more tips, tricks, and inspiration for growing fresh food at home, make sure to subscribe to Earthly Delights. There's always something new to learn, and I can't wait to share even more gardening goodness with you. And before you go, drop a comment below. Which of these crops are you excited to try first? I'd love to hear about your gardening journey, whether you're just starting out or already have a few plants under your belt. Until next time, happy growing, and I'll see you in the next video.